what is motivating you to move back to Jamaica?
Growing up, my dad would always be like, "Nobody get too comfortable. You have somewhere to go. You know, remember your home." I'm like, I romanticized it. Like, I was hearing about Jamaica from a child. I just always knew that I wanted to live in Jamaica. I knew I always wanted to contribute. It was very easy to be able to say, you know what, let's really make this happen.
Hello, Throp family, and welcome back to another video podcast episode. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Winthrop Wellington, and I am the host of On Deck with Throp, where we have meaningful conversations with people from all around the world, all about Jamaica. Today, we have two special guests joining us, a power couple, if you will, Claudius and Iman.
Boy.
I was waiting for something. There we go. And so Claudius is Jamaican born and bred. Iman is of Jamaican descent, just like myself. Mm-hmm. They are living in Canada, but transitioning fully to here in Jamaica. And they have a really amazing story. They also have an amazing family and three beautiful, amazing children. Girls, as a matter of fact. Claudius has his hands full. I have no doubt about that. But it is my pleasure to have both of you on the podcast. I want to welcome you both. Thank you for doing this and taking the time. Mm-hmm. At this time, I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourselves to the audience.
Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
My name is Iman Stewart. I'm a designer and entrepreneur. I'm a mom, as he said. I do interior design. I do lots of things. I sometimes hate these introductions because I'm like, why do I talk about myself? Just put something in the description. But yes, this is my lovely significant other.
Oh, yeah?
Tell them what you do.
Well, I'm a musician.
Yes.
I'm a guy who wants to make a difference through music, you know, try to impact the younger generation. Mm-hmm. And one of the main things is having a powerful person beside you as a woman who just help you to accomplish most of your goals. You know,
it can be challenging though at times.
I mean, I think every relationship is challenging. Even today, you're trying to please. Yeah, I mean, relationship and all is challenging. But on a serious note, I mean, everything over the last couple of years, I have to say that we've accomplished a lot together. Yeah. So we can't really use the negative to highlight the relationship. But
not at all.
As a team, she's a designer, I'm a musician. So we design music.
Okay, I like it. Okay, so we'll start with you, Iman. How did you get into design?
That's a great question. So interior design has been a passion of mine since I was a little girl. Mm-hmm. I used to actually design homes for my dolls out of cardboard boxes. My mom used to sew a lot, so any of her leftover fabrics or materials, I would do the window treatments, I'd cut out houses out of cardboard boxes, I'd change my armoires into homes for my dolls. So I was a very creative kid. I also loved music, and I played music as I played the clarinet up until grade 12. Was very musically inclined, was in a choir as well. So that's, I kind of think, how we connected with that music side. But I was a very creative performing arts type of child, but I loved to construct with my hands. So as a child, I was interested in it. I then started working at a big box store, kind of like a Home Depot in Canada called Rona, when I was 15 in the paint and decor department. Then I got a job at Benjamin Moore as a paint and color consultant. And then I went into interior design school in London, Ontario, not London, England. And then I came out and worked in residential design, and then also transitioned into commercial as well, and then started my own design company. And we've been, he's kind of in the background, but we've been running it for the past almost 8 years now. It's going into 8 years.
I see. And this is all in Canada, all in Toronto?
No, we actually have clients in Canada, obviously, but in Chicago, Georgia, Florida, and Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And both your parents are Jamaican?
Just my mother.
Okay.
My mother. Sorry.
What? I'm like, wow, I didn't know this part.
What? My father, sorry. My goodness. My father's from St. Thomas.
Okay.
So we're
okay.
representing the east side.
All right. All right.
My mom is half German, half French, and grew up in Western Canada, Saskatchewan. So very mixed.
Okay. Your mother grew up in Western Canada.
Yeah.
But you were raised in Toronto. Okay.
Yeah, I came to
gotcha.
Jamaica first when I was 3. Kind of like the beginning of my memories actually started in St. Thomas. Of my my life was in Jamaica, and then I came back at the age of 15 and met him on a night out with my sister. The first night I actually came back at 15, we went out for a ladies' night, and then we met him, and we've been friends ever since. We would come back every year. We would link up, hang out, and up until I was probably about like 23, I'd be back every summer or sometimes 2 and 3 times in the year visiting my aunt in St. Thomas. And then we would always be in touch as friends. I'd be like, Supa, come visit me in St. Thomas. Come pick me up for my aunts. He's like, I'm not driving that road. Come meet me in Kingston.
I love it. I love it.
Thank God the roads will be fixed soon.
Yeah, let's hope so, right? Let's hope so. And Claudius, you do very amazing things in music, very innovative, and you alluded to it earlier about changing lives and changing the world through music. How did you get into becoming a musician?
Well, I think probably 99% of Jamaica, when you ask them that question, is going to say to you, it started in church. You know, so I can say I started music in church in terms of like from youth choir, youth praise and worship leader. So that was where I kind of owned my voice. That hearing myself, kind of understanding how to project my voice, understand how to just
engage.
Connect with people, engage with people, making sure that they can hear me well. You know, that was very instrumental in my younger years in music. The thing now, what really happened is that after doing music in church, in Jamaica, you never had parents or people motivating you to continue music.
Right.
So we started to do other things in college. So we went to Cornwall College in Montego Bay, then we went to Mobile Comsi, and we wanted to do like arts in terms of literature and things that were not really my interest because we weren't being motivated to do music. But music was always in the background. So every time, I remember when I started to work for people, I always took time off to go to the studio. So every time I was working with Sandals, every time I got a day off, I was in the studio kind of just recording and trying to find myself until I started to have my own studio at home. So when I started to have my studio at home, I started to practice mixing music, recording music. So now I'm here, I'm not only doing it, I learned the stage part from church, and now I went into my home now and started to understand the mixing and the producing part and stuff now. So that kind of helped me. And then music then I realized that music was something that could have paid me while working at Sandals, or I think it was Sandals I was working at. Somebody asked me to do a show for them, and I remember when I did the show, I got $30,000 for the show. I'm like, what? This is like 1 week's pay, and I got it in half an hour. You know,
Wow.
So I'm like, no man, I have to see how I can do this better. You know,
Right.
So I started to work, but still started to put much of my effort and seeing how I could make music a business. So I started to do music, and then fortunately, as a gospel musician, that's how I started. Everybody in Jamaica knew me as a gospel musician. I started to get a lot of shows in Jamaica. Then one day they called me to the Jazz and Blues. So I did Jazz and Blues, Jamaica Jazz and Blues. That was a big thing. So I did the little small stage. Me, Romain Virgo. It was, what's your name again? Nikisha Barnes. And when that happened, it was a massive thing in the papers. And if you look at the clean up to this day, it was a massive thing. My performance was like, whoa. Then 2 years after, they called me to do the big stage. So when I did the big stage, I was like, whoa, there was a book ship here in Jamaica at the time called Logos. They always come to Jamaica and they give books out. So they were at Jazz and Blues at a tent there. So after I came off stage, they came and find me and they said to me, I'm gonna bring you to Sweden. And then we started to talk about international. Then that's when the international thing started. I started to go international shows and everything, and then that kind of motivated me to do music kind of different. But when you're talking about the other stuff that I'm doing music in terms of the outreach, I remember I was called to go to Metcalfe Street Juvenile Institution in Kingston to talk to the kids in there, because it's a juvenile institution, so 12 to 17 year old, and I went there to talk to them, and I remember having a discussion with the guys and the youth in there. All of these guys look so innocent, but they're there for everything. They're there for murder. They're there for being uncontrollable. But I remember I did a session with them, and the session I was doing with them, I asked them to write on a piece of paper what they want to be forgiven for. And up to this day, I have a handwritten note about 9. I got back. There were 92 boys in the room, and I got back about 40. And when you start to read those, Father God, please forgive me for the murder that I commit. Yo, it broke my heart. Like, I'm in the prison, in the juvenile detention center, and everything in me just kind of break. And I'm like, you see, I'm not wanting to be hype in music. I want to be a voice of change and see how I can impact these young people. So then it moved from me just trying to be a big star on the stage to me using music as a tool to encourage and change people's mind. So even that, I went overseas and I started to go into prisons overseas and I do the same thing. And I brought those little notes from the prison in Jamaica to overseas.
Wow.
And when I brought it in the big prison and I read it for the big prisoners now. These are maximum security prisons now. We're going there and we read this for these prisoners. These prisoners now started to write letters from a father's point of view to the juvenile, juveniles in Jamaica. And letters they wrote from a father's point of view. Have all of those handwritten letters even to this day. And I started out compiling them called Letters from My Father. So that was one of the things that really changed my music from just being a pop star to be a Mandela, to be somebody who is really impactful. So I know that sometimes that may take a longer journey to be a Mandela, but I'm going to work at it.
I love it. And now you're doing things of this nature all over the world, and you were telling me about a trip to Ghana that you have coming up later this year.
Wait, the trip was supposed to be from last year, but because of COVID and everything, it just kind of show things off. So we have a tour, which Iman is very instrumental, just like I'm instrumental in our design business. Yeah. She's also instrumental in the tour itself. So it's called Reclaimed Territory. So the same thing, which started from Metcalf Street. So when I saw that, the name change, Reclaim Territory. How can I bring back people to their own self? Like, take back the things them where you lose. So when Ghana now presented that, so we're going to the schools. So when we presented that to Ghana and they saw what was happening, I got a letter from the office of the president in Ghana that says, we endorse this, we want you to come, we're going to put the red carpet out there for you, because this is something that we want in our country and in our schools. You know, as a matter of fact, I need to give you a snippet of the letter and put it up.
Sure, we can do that. No problem.
Yeah, man, but it is, Ghana is just a completion of something that we do, because in the process of educating people and lifting people's self-worth, in that process, we started to talk to people in the UK about slavery and lift black people up in Jamaica. And then when we go to England, we start to educate white people about black people. And the history. And the history of Jamaica, the whole slavery thing. And then Ghana now is a completion of the triangle. Yeah. So we start at Jamaica, we're already in the UK, now we're going to Ghana, and then we come back to Jamaica. One triangle. So full circle, we educate people. So the same path they use for destruction, we use it for light.
I love it. That's amazing.
It's a wicked, man.
Yeah, I love it. And like I said, like when you first told me about it, I was like, man, this is super, super innovative. Yeah. Using music for this unbelievable channel that I don't think most people would even think of doing in that nature. So
you know what I want to add?
Sure.
Any musician in Jamaica. I mean, for myself, I see any musician in Jamaica, if they had that and doing that, it would be something I'd bend down and say, this is something I'm pleased with them, because music is such a powerful thing. When I listened to Bob Marley changing even people in Africa, when you hear people talking about apartheid and how Bob Marley's music was instrumental in the change of certain things there, and I'm like, Zimbabwe, how you see certain things. So music is so powerful. And if the musicians in Jamaica understand the power that they have with music and the power that they have as Jamaican, because Jamaicans are loved everywhere around the world. If you understand that and start to use it for change and not just for hype and not just for try to be Americans, using our culture, this beautiful culture we have for change the world, we still can do it. Marcus Garvey was a perfect example of that.
But you should also tell them about your Zimbabwe track that you did.
Oh.
He did the background vocals for a mix and remaster of Bob Marley's Zimbabwe track.
Okay.
So he even worked on that. We'll send you that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think we can play it. We're gonna get demonetized.
Yeah, we'll play it in the back.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And, you know, even you telling the story just makes me think of the impact that you're having, like on a real global stage.
Mm-hmm. And it's difficult. I'm gonna say it's difficult because a lot of times we don't get the support that we want. Sometimes we're out there, we're trying to look support, but for not even financial support, but even prayerful support sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just want people around us to kind of encourage us, because sometimes it's very difficult. And especially these past 2 years, I mean, honestly, as a musician, just in general, but a musician who's not popular, who you can get 50 dub plates from, but a musician who is doing a work like this,
impactful.
It was not easy, but I know that it's getting better now.
Yeah, and it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth
longevity.
It. Yeah. She's very good. She's very good at talking to people. So sometimes when I'm like, all right, I can't bother to talk to nobody right now, she's like, come on, I'll talk for you. So she's been good at and helping me in terms of the tour as well. Very good.
Awesome. Power couple, like I said.
Yeah.
So with that, you said you met when you were 15 initially, and here in Jamaica, and trying to get Super to come out to St. Thomas.
She always was saying, you can't come to St. Thomas, come for me. I'm like, and you know, sometimes I wanted to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
No, but he was on a hype then. Like it's kind of funny because I just knew him as a friend. I didn't know he had this music career, because when we first met, he told me he wanted to be a pilot when I was 15, so he was 18. And that's how I kind of knew him as. So when we reconnected and he's like, oh, I'm a musician, I was like, oh, it was so left field. So he had so much going on that I didn't even really know about. And it was kind of until we really started dating and stuff where I'm like, oh, okay, you're doing this, you're touring here, people know you. I remember one time we were in Florida and we were in a mall, I don't know, Sawmill, or I can't remember. We're in Fort Lauderdale, Sawgrass, sorry. And this woman comes up and she's like, Claudius England? And I'm like, him? Because it was just, I didn't connect with it because I knew him as a good friend from Jamaica and wanting to link up with him whenever I went and keeping that connection. So when I started seeing, I was like, wow, okay, he has so much other things going on that I didn't even know about. So
yeah, but what you need to add is that, so back in the days, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 20, when she was in school, I remember she used to say to me, she used to work for people. She was like, I can't, I hate working for people. I'm like, hey man, if you hate working for people, just start your own thing.
Yeah,
and that was, I think she was like 18, 19,
I started 20, my sole proprietorship at 18 called Nami Interiors. It still is a blog spot up to date.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny because so at the same time, I was because remember we used to talk a lot on the phone, and then even our ex-boyfriends used to talk to.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, talk to Claudius, he's my friend from Jamaica.
Where are you doing? You're good? Yeah, man. I want a vibe, see, it was my brethren, but the one thing I could have said is that there was always something that was there, that even when I was in a previous relationship, I would be afraid to talk to her because I feel like
when we met, we liked each other right away.
Yeah, but after we liked and we went separate ways, and we had because I was married too, which had other kids as well from.
I see.
So even then, when we would speak, we tried our best to be firm, but there was always something in the back of my head like,
when are you coming to Canada? We should do a show here, and let me see if I can help with that.
The spark was there. The flame was always there.
But definitely, she, in terms of like that, those years of my life she was very impactful too, because I remember speaking to her a lot about my personal situation, and she was speaking to me about her personal situation, and even her job, and even what she's doing now. I remember just saying when she was working for the company, she was complaining all the time. I'm like, go do your own thing. Do your own thing. And to see her do her own thing is like, yo,
amazing. And then how long have you both been in Canada, living there together?
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
We've been in Canada.
But we would be back and forth. Like we would be a couple months in Canada, then back in Jamaica for maybe 3 months. We've been doing that since 2017.
And then, Canada's great, right? Of course, they have terrible winters, but in the sense, it's it's first world country, first world amenities, and I'm sure you have your friends, your family, and everything there. What is motivating you to move back to Jamaica?
Well, my father is very proud Jamaican. So growing up, my dad would always be like, "Nobody get too comfortable. You have somewhere to go. Remember your home." I'm like, beaches, Toronto, Jamaica. So I grew up with, like, the beautiful thing about growing up with my father was even if I came home late from partying, he'd be up, cooking soup or something. And I'd come home and he'd just tell me stories about his life. So I was that child who got that I romanticized it. Like, I was hearing about Jamaica from a child, and my first memories were then. So I had a very strong Jamaican family. So it's funny because I'd go to school and I'm with, North American kids. I bring my lunch. They're like, "What's that? Scrambled eggs?" I'm like, "It's ackee." Well, we have it in a tin because I'm not back home, but this will suffice. And the culture was very prevalent. And then growing up in Toronto, there's so many Jamaicans. Yeah. You see Filipino people being like, "Wagwan, party." So it was nice. So I just knew I always wanted to come back home and just do what I need to do for the country, for the culture. It's very easy to assimilate to a North American culture, but to assimilate here you have to be very conscious. You have to say, okay, I'm going to do this. And I just always knew that I wanted to live in Jamaica. I knew I always wanted to contribute. So it was very easy, like when we got together 5-6 years ago, to be able to say, you know what, let's really make this happen. And, a whole bunch of other things come along the line with that.
She wanted some guy to help her. That was the guy. No, I mean, but before we decided to be together, she remember she calling me and saying to me, "You could check this land for me out." Like and I would call her and find a lawyer for her and to talk to the lawyer and give her the contact of certain things, because she was always motivated to come here.
I see.
And it was always good for me because I was like saying, I never wanted to go and live outside of Jamaica. Yeah. I wanted to experience it. But every time I go away, I'm like, I want to go back. So to find somebody from overseas who wants to come back, because I've had other relationship before where somebody who don't want to come back to Jamaica, like, I want to stay over here. I'm like, okay, you're going to stay by yourself over there then. Because I'm not going to, but to have somebody who is willing and ready to I'm not gonna say give up what they have, because she didn't
we're still
give up.
maintaining, we're still there.
But you know what? I don't even want to say give up, because there's a lot of things that Canada has to offer,
right?
Which are great
to come to Jamaica. Like even some of the structure, some of the social things, and not just the social programs alone. Just even for musicians, when I go there and see how much benefits there and so much grants for musicians, Jamaica, you don't have that. So if we can be a couple or a team of people who can bring some of those things to Jamaica and elevate the Jamaica, then I want to do that more than to go to Canada and stay there and like, okay, look at Jamaica on TV, look at it, look, crime.
Let's watch Winthrop online because we need a bit of Jamaica, which is good. But when you're there, you always have this like thing in the back of your mind of like, I'm supposed to be somewhere else, or I'm supposed to be doing something else to contribute. So that was always there.
Yeah.
And Claudius, you said something earlier that I found with a lot of Jamaicans is that they can't see themselves living or being anywhere else. And like I've met Jamaicans abroad that will be in like, nice places, nice cities, nice countries. And they were like, no, nothing beats Jamaica, nothing beats home. Like, why is that?
I think
the culture.
All right. I've been blessed to spend quality time in the UK, in America, in Canada, in Jamaica. When I say quality time, like months. And the one thing I realize when I'm there, it's that the family, the friends, the structure that keeps you motivated, like a team of people. Like here in Jamaica, I can find, even when my family not there, I can find people who can go and it's a different atmosphere, a different energy.
It's more community
community driven.
Yep.
And it's not always about the money. When I go to the North America, a lot of time, a lot of people who are there, even my Jamaican friends, they want to make some money. to come back to Jamaica. So when they're there, their focus is about making money. So they don't build community. No, and even if they buy a house, I'm not going to say they don't buy a house and leave it for their kids. And sometimes their kids actually turn out to be American and they don't want to come to Jamaica because of the amenities that are there.
Right.
But I think that the reason why Jamaicans want to come back here, the taste of the food is different.
Okay.
The sea, the water that is there is different.
Yep.
The plum tomatoes are this big and not this big.
It's different. The only issue we have when it comes to Jamaica is that it's not easy to get money in Jamaica. So a lot of people will tell, that's the only issue I have when it comes to Jamaica, to make money. But when you have the capital to invest, it's easier to make money here than to make it in a foreign.
No doubt.
100%.
No
So
doubt.
people,
Very
we
true.
don't know which camera I'm looking at. You see that camera there? People, you see if you have like money in a pocket, see how you can invest it in Jamaica, because
Straight.
you can actually make a lot of money in Jamaica. Much more easier than you can make it in foreign. You understand what I say? Because the competition, I used to live in New York, and the competition, I mean, a lot of people leave Jamaica in New York and they're like, As a matter of fact, one day I was going to the airport and I remember the train was stuck on the line because there's a guy jumping from track to track to track to track. Police have to go on the line to get him because they're stressed out with the liberty. You don't have a sea where you can jump in and just swim out the day, or a river where you can just swim out the problems. You understand? So I think that the soul of Jamaica is what people want. The soul of Jamaica is why you're here.
I say
The soul
it's the
of Jamaica
heartbeat.
is why she's here.
Yeah.
Because her father passed it on to her.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no matter what, when she come here, she's like, oh yeah. When you come now, when you go on the bank line, sometime you want to go back to America because you're in the
that's
bank
a
line for
different
long. But what we can say is that just be here in the bank line. It may last 3 months. We are going through it right now. But after that, you're good. Believe me. Just hold on. And guess what? I think with that, we're going to need about, let me say it for all the people who don't understand me when I talk about that. I think this is a good thing I think this channel is a good channel to stay tuned to, because there's a lot of things that are going to be
Big
said
things.
in this whole channel. After we come off and Winthrop is here by himself and talking to other people, that will encourage you and motivate you to come to Jamaica and live life kings and queens.
Oh, that was
Love
well
it.
said.
I love it.
Well said.
And you bring up so many good points.
True.
And that is the mentality in terms of it's hard to make money here.
Yeah.
But there's so much opportunity.
100%.
So much opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think you guys obviously see it even from conversations that we've had outside of the one we're having now.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of opening people's eyes to these opportunities.
100%.
And the experience that you bring here as spending all this time all around the world in these different cities that you were saying, Claudius, and living in Canada for an extended period of time, man, you have so much value 100%. To bring here. And there's probably things and opportunities that you're not even thinking of right now,
Good point.
but once you're here, you're going to start exploring and engaging and executing on these ideas. And I always say there are other cultures that are non-Jamaican cultures that are coming here, and they're setting up shop and they're doing extremely well.
Very true.
And in my mind, it's like, why can't we do that? Why
Right.
can't Jamaicans come back to Jamaica and do that and make far more money than you would in other places? And I'm not saying that, of course, there are people very uberly successful wherever they are in their own right. But I'm saying if we can do our own and build our own, why not? Why not? And I think a big motivation with the channel is to really bring those stories and experience to light and say, like, hey, if he's doing it, if she's doing it, if they're doing it, hey, maybe I can do it as well. And I think that is a really, really big possibility.
You see, the thing that moved me, even for me doing this right now, is our conversation before this. And realizing that you and me are the same age, approximately.
Yes.
You don't know who bigger, but we're approximately the same age.
Right.
And I can say that when I spoke to you and I realized how invested you are to make this country a massive place, you're on the same page like me.
Absolutely.
And I guarantee that when heads like this come together, then we can make a big difference.
That's it.
100%.
That is exactly what it is. It's like, it's finding like-minded people. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not letting you guys go. You know, like, honestly, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is like we're family. We're
One
gonna stick
thing.
together. We're gonna support each other.
Yeah.
And everything that we do, I want to know what you are doing. I want to get on phone conversations, Zoom
One
calls,
link.
because like that's what it takes. And unfortunately, right now, it's very rare that you meet people of like-minded and who are thinking like this, who are thinking long-term vision.
Right.
And so we have to bear that in mind. And I know that because I'm trying to find these people, you know?
Right.
And so, and I'm trying to find also young people like who
Yeah.
are going to be here for longevity. As I mentioned, you got 3 beautiful young girls that you're bringing here and you're going to be amalgamating into the culture. And so to me is like, you have to think long-term.
Yes.
Innately, like you have to. And
Yeah.
I don't have a family, I don't have a wife, I don't have a kid or anything like that. But like, I'm already starting to think of these things, and I'm starting to think like, what kind of future, what kind of community, what kind of environment do I want them to have? And I'm not going to allow the world, the universe to figure it out for me. I'm going to be part of the change that I would like to see and the community that I would like to see. And I'm not going to, I'm not one to be like, and complain about Jamaica, complain about the bank line, or whatever it is. I do complain about the bank line. Don't get me wrong.
This
but
too shall pass.
Exactly. And at some point, you know, that's going to change, you know.
Yeah, but you know what I want to add? And
Sure.
this is just a question I'm going to throw out there. Bankers, I don't know who's listening to this podcast. I think you're listening. When I was speaking to somebody at the bank and they're saying a lot of the regulations that are set by the America.
With the reserves.
And a lot of things that we go through is set because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I set by processes to eliminate fraud, that. But when I go to America and I'm opening an account or Canada, it takes me 2 hours.
Not even.
Well,
45 minutes.
Because they're helping to fill out the forms and everything. Yeah, it took me an hour and a half to get everything done. And in Jamaica, it takes 2 months.
3 months.
Just to get kind of things organized. And I'm not even going to beat the bank or beat the people working in the bank. I'm beating the process.
Right.
Because I think the process needs to be uplifted and reevaluated to make me not feel like I'm criminal.
Right.
Because I'm coming here, I don't want to feel like I'm a criminal coming into work. So it's not Jamaica that. It's a system that is imposed. And a lot of systems were imposed from us from slavery. And it's still imposing because they don't want us to break free. So bankers, I'm name again from Bank of Jamaica, the man. Come on now. Not Legion. Come on, let's see how we can really make Jamaican people feel like we are somebody. Even when we go to Western Union, when I go to Western Union in Canada or in America, I just come and show my ID. When I go here, you make me feel like a criminal because they're scammers. I'm like, I find a way, and this is my opinion, find a way to do your business so I don't feel like I'm a criminal when I come into the entity because I'm in Jamaica. Because when I'm in America, I don't go through the same process. Right, so we need to find a way to make it easier for me to come here, or for you, or people, expat coming back here and saying to make it do business. We have that for 2023 to 4 by 2025, make it happen.
I like it. Make that process easier.
Easier, man.
Right.
It's too ridiculous. Right.
Yeah. So it's just unfortunate that we find ourselves at a time where we have to go through these things as a country because of a few bad apples, if you will. And I do remember, like, when I opened up my account in the US for this company that I started, Thought Media, that they did the same thing, but they did it in a very slick way. And I remember, like, I was speaking to the person who was opening my account, and then the bank manager came over, and he just started, like, it was just like such an awkward situation for me because I knew what he was doing. He just started asking me all these questions, and he tried to make it seem conversational, but he was just really like, am I some sort of fraudster or trying to see if I was trying to get over on the system? And I was like, man, I was like, man, I know I'm smarter than you, so you're not gonna try and trick me with this whole questioning,
right?
And like asking me questions, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, you know what? Cool. I see what you're doing. And I was like, I didn't turn it into a race thing or anything like that. And I just in my head, I just assumed for the best that this is part of the process of just questioning people and checking them out. But you hear about these things in the US about people going in who are legitimate, cashing their own paychecks and being arrested in the US, like regular, like there are videos of this because they are black. And again, I didn't put myself in that position. I didn't put my mind in that position. Everything worked out and it's fine.
Perfect. Yeah.
But like you said, I was there maybe hour and 15 minutes, opened a business account. I started my business, I think the day before, online, New York State, certified everything, and I just went through the whole process, so it's quick. I do know Jamaica I would say it's moved up in the ranks in terms of ease of starting business. Of course, we want to get better at that, right?
Yeah.
We want to get more efficient. And I want to see Jamaica, and I think, I have to say, I like to think Jamaica is pro-business, but I want to see Jamaica be pro-entrepreneur.
100%.
And what I mean by that is
100%.
with these processes, for sure, and then in terms of the development of young entrepreneurs,
Yes.
giving them the resources, the facilities, the guidance, and the leadership for young people. Because I find that Jamaicans are this is just like raw talent, raw talent, like born and raised. And it's just like, man, if we could channel and guide that talent instead of going down other routes, right? And channel that energy and that thought into directions of even things like I'm doing, and like we were talking about, and being in the creative industry, being a shooter, being not a shooter, a camera shooter, a videographer.
Them there.
I gotta choose my words carefully here. But videographer, video editor, because and I've said this many times before on my podcast, is like, we are pushing people, our young people, to be doctors and lawyers and putting them on these high pedestals. I'm like, then telling everybody, like, that's the upper echelon of society. And I know creative people, videographers, and who are making more money and being more successful and living much more prosperous and free lives than those of those professional careers that we hold at such. And nothing wrong with being a doctor or lawyer at all, but in my mind, again, I would love to see Jamaica, and as far as like attract and support goes, be more, again, pro-entrepreneurial.
100%.
I agree.
And also, when you say entrepreneurial, I want to highlight as a creative person. You see, music, because even the COVID time that just happened, or I don't know if it's still happening, I realized that I had income coming in, if it's even 5 cents, 10 cents, that came in because of work that was done. I made a product and left it out there for a long time, and music is there. And then in the time of COVID, I saw how it was ticking over, same way, ticking over. How can I put a facility in? How can we, as expat people coming back to Jamaica, put facilities in to better that for the younger generation? Because you can make thousands and thousands of dollars from media.
And online.
You can make so much because at different time. My mother is a teacher, and she is a very good teacher. But she can't teach online stuff because that passed fair time.
Right.
So a lot of people, brilliant teachers, need help to understand where we are in terms of the world now. We're at a different place, and we have to show people how to engage and make some income from it.
And you had shown me a real world recent example
100%.
with YouTube. And this is also what I like. This is a viable career.
It is.
Being YouTube, and like you said, once you put in the work up front,
100%.
you can make that money forever.
Because it never goes.
Never goes away.
It never goes. As a matter of fact, it's so funny. I was just telling him, I put the Will Smith thing up on my YouTube channel. I didn't do much work.
This is crazy to me. But
On
yes,
my
go ahead.
computer, on my phone, I just put it up on my channel. I was like, let me just put it up because I saw it. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. Put no edit, no talk, not. Just narrow it down. And now it's still climbing. The last time I looked, no, it's way over 10,000 views, gone about 40 something dollars. Just keep going. And I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. It took me about 3 minutes. I'm like, what? So I'm saying, I just can't wait. Even this, I can't wait for this push because this is gonna be a very big income generator because people want this. And once you say consistent and understand that everything is not just money that flying in your pocket. consistent. Look at setup. You consistent. You're gonna make a lot of money. You need to give me a check.
No money yet, trust me. One day, hopefully next year. But I think that's such a great example. That's over 5,000 Jamaican dollars you made off of essentially doing nothing, but you understand the system.
Over 10,000.
Yes.
Oh, you understand the system, right? You understand how the internet works. You understand how YouTube works. And imagine we had a team, an army maybe, of young people, young creators that we support and that we push out there. And you could go and be your own boss like you did.
Yeah.
You don't have to work for anybody.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like opening the eyes of the powers that be, so to speak, educators, mentors, and pushing young people in that direction. And like everybody's not going to be a superstar. You know, everybody's not going to be a doctor and lawyer like we said before, but you could be, again, that person behind the camera. You can be that audio engineer, and you can make really, really good money.
Yeah.
A person that I interviewed a couple of weeks ago, he's a musician, and here in Negril has his own bar. And one thing that he's having trouble finding is an audio engineer. And I'm like, this is crazy. Jamaica, the land of music.
Right.
You know, we can't find that here in Negril.
Good point.
And so, you know, that's a huge opportunity for somebody to come in and, you know, again, for a young person, just get a little guidance and be a good audio engineer.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree.
Yeah, man. We, when it comes to music, we have the talent. We just need the facilities.
Right.
We don't have the proper schooling to help to motivate them people. I mean,
in terms of music.
Yeah. You have Enda Manley, which is, I think they have one in Trinidad now, but it's the only one in the Caribbean for arts.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Kingston, it was massive. And, you know, just looking at them too, I realized that they didn't have like modernized, moving forward thinking, which, again, I'm not beating Enda Manley. I'm just saying that we're at a time now where we have to be very focused at modernizing, very focused at using the opportunities that we have quickly, because they're there. They're there. You can make the school itself can empower people to go out there and make a little money off of it same way. You know, there's so much things. So that's the one thing I think we, as people who go out and see certain things, we need to find a way how to bring it back to Jamaica and empower people. That's it.
So in terms of your timeline to moving back to Jamaica fully, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I am ready already. I am, like, honestly, it's just a little bit difficult that, you know, when you're not in Jamaica for a while and then you come back to set up foundation again. No, foundation is there from before, but to set up sometimes a little bit difficult.
Right.
You know, because you need the resources to kind of set stuff up. And I'm starting to realize that everybody is charging US dollars for everything now. So you have to find a way to make US dollars if you're really coming back. So, which sometimes I think is not right. But again, it's a more corporate thing. We need to sit around the table and see how best to help people to come back and assimilate back to what we have here. But I think that my process of moving back is right away. It's just COVID kind of slowing things down, because if I can go out on tour and come back to Jamaica, then it's better than living in Canada, because it's best for me. So once things are open up again, I'm ready. But I'm already setting up shop here now. So I'm giving myself probably till the end of this year.
Okay.
To really set up, because even before that, but by August, September, we're here.
Awesome. And where are you looking as far as living?
Because I grew up in Montego Bay, it's familiar to me. Negril is nice. It's more relaxing than Montego Bay. But Jamaica is such a small place. I think I need to have more than one place.
Okay.
I think I need to have more than one place.
That.
I think I need to have more than one place. I think Mobe is just convenient because family is there. Negril is just a quick run away from Montego Bay, so I always can just come back and forth. But I want to explore the island because opportunity is island-wide. And I think I need to do that.
Okay. Awesome. So it's pretty imminent.
Yeah,
pretty
man.
imminent.
We're on it. We're there.
And you have businesses here already.
Yes.
Set up and ready to go. Awesome.
We're actually opening business right now. We're in process with the bank, giving us all kind of long time, but we're just still standing focused and firm, and we know that this is what we want to do, and we can't run away from what we really want to do. So it takes a little bit of work, but all I know that it's still gonna work. Coming to Jamaica is what we need to do. And leaving from Jamaica, go to the other parts of the world. As per Bible, it says, go into all the world and come back to Jamaica.
I like it. I like it. And so, the girls, how old are your daughters and their names as well?
All right, so let me start first, because as I said earlier, I had a previous marriage and I had 3 kids from the previous marriage. So we have Tage, who is the boy. So he's at Monroe now. Talia.
How old is he?
Tage is 14. Talia is 12.
Yeah.
She's going to be 13 in a couple of days.
Yeah.
She goes to Hampton.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Congrats.
And then I have Trinity, who goes to my mother's school. That's New Vision Prep and Kindergarten. And she's 10, right?
Yes, she just turned 10.
She know a lot of information.
Yeah.
Then we have Isa, 6.
She just turned 6.
Isra, 3. And Imia, 1.
Oh.
So the ones you see at South with today, running around, that's Isa, Isra, Imia.
And Isra and Isa go to his mother's school as well with Trinity, because we raised them all as a family.
Yeah. We're not separate.
Yeah.
Everybody have to race together, because that's one cup. That's what I think is the right thing to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
But that's also another story that we're gonna get into, right? That what I would say is that this last one it just running up and down.
This is Imia.
Imia Rhythm.
She changed my life.
Oh, yeah?
Extremely, extraordinarily more than anything else that I've ever gone through, because Isra, who was born she was the second to last one. So we decided to have her at home.
A home birth.
With
a midwife. Well, with
so
a few of them.
3 midwives that came over.
And my mom, who's a nurse. So we were like, okay, we're ready. Because Isa was in the hospital, and natural. She was in the hospital. But we said, Isra, we're going to do a home birth.
So she wanted to do a home birth. I'm like, okay. Initially, I was like, nah, I'm not going to have a baby.
My dad thought I was crazy.
But I thought you were crazy too, because I'm like, I thought it was going to be bloody and gory. You know, But when they came, they spread. It was so easy.
They put us we had so they tell you bring a shower curtain, so you can deliver on top of the shower curtain. They can just fold it up and toss it out. A couple towels, and that's pretty much it.
They
bring a defibrillator if there's any issues.
They brought like a small hospital to the home.
Yeah, it's like a stage 2 level hospital, which in Canada we operate on like stage 3 levels, but it's like a stage 2 level hospital. So they said, okay, we're good to go.
So we were, when it happened, I was very antsy before. After it happened, I was like, her sister, her mom, her dad, my cousin was there. Everybody was drinking champagne outside.
Yeah.
And
we ordered pizza. I'm in the bed. Okay.
When the baby came, no one, it was done. They just cleaned everything up, and we were at home, and then I have to go in the car. It was like the best feeling. I'm like, I don't have to go in the car. Like, I'm there. She's just in the bed. We're good.
And Isra comes up smiling, and we're like, okay, Claudius is behind me. Like, that real supportive, we're going to have a baby. Like, he was behind me while I'm pushing.
Like 1,000,000 marks.
I had
blood vessels were popping.
I burst my blood because I was pushing from my face. I was like, I need this baby out. So I had like all these blood vessels burst on I looked horrific, but Isra was happy.
Everybody else was
Everybody was happy. Okay.
No, move on to the last one.
Yeah.
So Isra was such a good one. I'm like, all right then, we're gonna do a home birth again. And it was COVID time. So I'm like, I don't want to go to the hospital. So we planned. No, let's have another home birth.
This is last year.
2020.
2020, okay.
2020.
Yeah.
August 2020. So we're like, all right, we're gonna have this baby at home again. So we see a midwife, having a conversation. They're good, everything is good. So
we were in a different place.
Yeah, we went to a different place.
Because our place was rented out with international students.
Yeah, so we're at a different place, which was about 40 minutes away. Yeah.
Outside of Toronto.
But normally when the contractions start, we're on the phone with them and they would get there. So they say when it starts whenever the contractions start, we should call them and they will be on their way. So I said, okay then, no problem. So when we were going home, and when we're in the car, when we went to a restaurant, we're going home, I remember she in the car and she was like, I'm like, you think the baby coming tonight? She said, I think so. But She went back to normal. We went home. She's doing
Every
her thing.
hour they were coming.
She was doing her thing, and then then we realized that the baby may come tonight. So we put the midwife on alert. Yes. And said, the baby's going to come tonight. So they were like, already, just give us a call. Let us know what's happening. Every
Go
time
in the tub.
they're giving us. They're having midwife is like a beautiful thing, So they're walking us through the whole process and everything. So we're like there. So when the contractions start to come now, like quick, like
sped up.
Start quick. So we call them and they say underway.
Almost 6 minutes.
They're driving underway. And I remember when she started to she was in pain. I don't know what to do. I just want to calm her down. So I put her in the bath. I was like rubbing her back, pushing her back, and like put her in the bed. And she's like, rubbing her back, like. And I'm like, I just can't wait till these midwife come. Can't wait until the midwife here, I went looking outside, coming back, looking outside. Then I realized that the contractions are coming quicker, like probably 10 minutes now. 10 minutes. And the midwives are about 20 minutes away. So the last time when we called, she said, we're just 8 minutes away. So I'm like, yes. When we went inside, I'm inside with her. So now I'm antsy now. I'm looking outside now for the midwives because they don't know where our house is, so we're parking. I remember I went out one time, I hear she said, the baby coming! And I'm like, what? So I went back inside now. When I went back inside, I see the hair. I looked, I saw
frowning.
Like the hair and the baby. I'm like, what the frick? So I run outside now to look at the midwife. I can't. I see the midwives. They're coming, but they don't know where to go. So I was gonna run outside to the midwife
and say park here.
And park here, but by the time she scream again, so I run back inside because when I scream, I see the baby head coming out. I'm like, what? So no, I'm like, all right. What? So I don't know what to do. I told her and everything. So I'm like, I'm trying now to go now because the baby's coming out. I don't want the baby to fall on the ground.
Yeah.
And she's there, so I'm going right there. So I'm trying to not make myself get bloody or anything. I'm like...
And it was the second push.
Yeah, so but when I was right under, like holding the baby like this, the head, because I wanted not to fall on the ground. But I was like,
on the floor.
All right. So me and her in the room alone. So the baby head come out now. And when the baby head come out, it's like so slippery. It's like... The baby is like she's ready to fall out, man. So now I don't know what to do more than just go right under her. Like this. Because the baby's gonna fall. I'm like, let me just hold it. So I'm like, what? So the baby just drop out of my hand, like, boop.
Wow.
And the baby's like, I'm like, everything, blood, everything came out. I'm right. So the baby came out now. And then I remember the umbilical cord fell on my hand. But when it fell on my hand, it's still moving. So it was like, shh, like an alien.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna bust it up and I realized it's a baby. And I'm like, oh, and I got it. And then the baby was like, and not crying. And then she was like, she was breathing. She was breathing or anything at all. So she now, I have a baby, trying to not make the baby fall. Passing it on to her. She's like, she started going, what is wrong with my baby? What is wrong with my baby? And I'm like, no man started panic. No, I'm like, what? So I remember I had I don't know what it was on my finger, but I didn't want to go to the baby's mouth. All the nastiness. No, I'm not going to say nastiness. All the blood and everything. So I just remember just doing this. I'm pushing the same finger down the baby's throat. Mm-hmm. The baby went, and she started to bawl. And I'm like, I gave her the baby. She said, and the baby said, and I ran outside for the midwife. And I go out there and I run.
And then now I'm breastfeeding her.
When I ran outside for the baby, they're gonna come. They're gonna come. When I ran outside for the baby, for the midwife, she's like, I said, baby, the baby come. They're like, is she breathing? She's like, yeah. I said, yes, I gave her the baby. She's like, no problem, just calm down. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Might as well bring the baby.
You can bring the baby.
Yeah, you might as well
bring the baby.
Ali, bring the kids. Bring the kids. Good timing. Come on in.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Yeah,
this is the second.
What's wrong?
Okay.
So we can order some,
all right.
Mama.
We're gonna get some food for you. We're gonna get some food fight. But we're talking about you now.
Well,
no, not this. This
she
is
was,
the one that was.
She was the one at home that came out and smiled, and everything was.
Where's the next one?
Imia,
You guys come on.
Isra, Isa.
This is a different one.
You can come in.
You can, let's come. Let you come. Let the baby come. You can bring her in.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, she's probably come.
I was gonna say maybe just order
let
something.
me just show this one. So this is the one that I cut. This is the one that come here. Y'all waiting on my name. Yeah? So let's see them know. Whoa, all the mic gone different places. So this is the one I was talking about. So this is the one that I actually cut. She look alright.
You did a good job.
I was a mid-husband for this one. So it's really, like, even now, just it's funny because they came the right time.
Right.
I think they came in the right time because we were talking about them.
Yeah.
This is Issa, so she was born in the hospital. This one was born
but
at
natural.
home.
No epidural, no nothing.
This one was born at home, and this one was born with a midknife, and this was the one I delivered. And honestly, every time I see her, even when I talk about this story, the same kind of feeling. The same feeling come like goosebumps. Because it's the first time in my life I've ever been so afraid. Don't know what to do. Like I panic, but I realize that I can't panic. So no matter I panicked because there's me and Iman alone in the room. This baby is coming. And when this baby is coming, like I'm saying, all I want to do is to see the midwife walk in the room. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. All I want to do is just see the midwife walk into the room. And the midwife didn't come. So we're there. But the good thing is that as soon as the baby came, about 5 minutes after, the midwives are in the house. So they actually made me cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they clean up and
they
deliver the placenta.
The placenta and everything. So, you know, that's why I said this relationship, even when it's rocky, I have to remember that there's a bond that was shared that if a person came to me with 2 guns, I don't think I'd ever feel that fear, as much fear as I felt that night. Because I just couldn't do it wrong. This is what I said to myself that night. I had to do it right. I had to do it right. I have to make sure that this baby was okay. And look at her. She look okay? Look at them.
They're all adorable.
Yeah,
so adorable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but them just come.
From the beach?
Them come
From Travelers Beach.
Them come crash your podcast. Them come crash your podcast. But honestly, let me tell you.
Fix your mic.
Yeah, man, I hold it now. You see them crash your podcast, but we still make it work. People, honestly, this is actually meant to be. This, honestly, even talking about it is the first time we really talk about it on camera.
Yeah, on camera.
You understand what I say? And even for them to come in, even for her to come in at this time.
Oh my god.
Is that you get a big show.
Yeah, definitely.
I know, we knew right when to come in.
You got a big show, man. Honestly, so, you know, even though I say, with even a relationship and what we want to accomplish in Jamaica, like, all I see these kids Jamaican. I see these kids being raised as Jamaican kids that will impact the world. Yes, they were born in Canada.
Can jams,
but I'm going to call them Jamaicans. Yeah, man, with them. Yeah.
Nah, I appreciate you guys taking the time. You know, let's wrap up. Yeah, obviously, they're hungry and you gotta go and everything like that. So, with that, Iman, if you can give us your contact information where everybody can check you out and see your designs and everything like that.
So you can reach us at www.imanstewart.com, IMANSTEWART, or IG, Instagram at Iman Stewart Inc. Those are probably the best. I have all the Pinterest and all those other things, but if you go to the website, all the links are there.
Okay, awesome. Super. Where can we find out about your program, your music, all the above?
You know, everywhere where Iman tell you a while ago, you can go there and find a little bit. You can ask her about me, but you can go to claudiusengland.com, reclaimterritory.com, and we're putting a lot more effort at informing people. So we're putting some more time in the website right now too as well, so that we can actually be more direct at what we want to do. So claudiusengland.com, CLAUDIUS, England like the country.com, and reclaimed territory. So reclaimedterritory.com.
And then
big up on yourself.
You have IG and Facebook.
Yeah, IG Claudius England, I mean, that's my birth name. Claudius England, IG, Claudius England, Facebook, Claudius England. I think me alone in the world name Claudius England. So I just use it, you know? And I can just close by saying, despite the negatives in my life, I want to thank you, Lord, for every little thing that you done for me. You blessed me with my kids. My wife that only brought me happiness, it brought a constant joy to me. You brought me through the pain. The slum, you brush my feet off, you expose Satan's ply to me. Now I'm gonna give you all the praise, all the days, cause you're more than a brother, you're a friend to me. Big up for the set.
I love it. I got nothing more to say. Thank you guys once again for joining
Thanks
and
for
hopping
having
on.
us.
Appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us on the pod. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Big up.
Thank you, ladies, for joining the podcast.
Yo, she really.
I know.